welcome to Pitch Tank. Who's ready to judge some people? We're always told not to judge people, but here we get to judge people in the most friendly manner possible. Welcome to this room. If you've never been a part of Pitch Tank, it's wild. It's a lot of fun. We're not mean. We're constructive. And Robin's laughing at me already. We have some great pitches. I just heard that this is going to be a pitch no one will ever forget. One of the contestants, or what, was it you? He's like, was it me? Was it me? Well, we'll find out. First, I want to welcome our judges to the stage. Am I supposed to do this in order? Okay, little confession. You're probably not surprised already. This is the first Pitch Tank I have ever hosted. Now, Pitch Tank has been part of our ecosystem for a very long time. It's kind of been Kyle's baby. And he was like, you're hosting Pitch Tank, which feels like a really heavy mantle for me. So whatever you do, when you leave here, you have to tell Kyle, like, Paul crushed it. Please, just tell him that for me, even if I'm terrible. Let's welcome our judges to the stage. Number one, want to invite our friend Elizabeth Shults. Let's warm welcome. She just said, and I quote, "I hope nothing breaks at my stores." Welcome. We'll put you in seat number one. Number two, Brian Donnelly of Autotech Ventures. Let's hear it. He did not say that to me. He looks like he's done this before. And last but not least, Tony Fowler of Gubagoo. Welcome to the stage. I went to shake his hand, and he must have given some. Now we know how you got the hand. So why don't we have the seat? Okay, so little, who's laughing at me? Okay, at me. All right, here's the format, 3-minute pitches. Okay, we're gonna hold you to it. So if you have a 20-slide deck, I'm gonna cut you off at 3 minutes. So not because I don't like you, because I do like you. And we want you to be short and concise. You can use a deck, 10 minutes-ish of questions from the panelists. We'll take questions from the audience. I don't know if we do that in Pitch Tank, but we do today, and we do in this room. And then we have a voting platform, and the judges have a little app that they're gonna rate the vote. We're gonna hold all the vote totals until the end. And one of the questions from the judges was, how do I hedge my vote, to make sure that I don't give someone who crushes it in the beginning the highest vote? And I said, well, just leave a little space in there. So I don't know if we're, I don't know. Well, but I also said, Jacob, make sure you remember what you did for the other two, right? So back handsprings are memorable. I'll tell you that, especially if you fall off the stage. So I'm going to welcome Jacob to the stage, and let's hear it for our first pitch, everybody.
Hey, how's it going? I think there's supposed to be a deck, or I submitted a deck.
This may be my fault.
I could go without a deck.
But it may not be my fault. Yeah. I'll take ownership for it.
I could go without
Extreme
a deck.
ownership.
All good.
Ha-ha.
Okay.
No deck. Let's see what you got.
Yeah.
Now we'll see if this works.
Okay, cool. Hold on.
You're down to 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah, perfect. Hold on. These are wrong deck. These are not mine. Who's up first?
Oh, that's even funnier.
Who's up first?
You have to prove your competitor's product.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, are we switching? Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah. See, we got
Paul, you're
hands
crushing
up.
it.
Yeah.
All right.
That's not my deck.
Robin will tell you this. When things fall apart, I always try to find a solution. So if that's not your deck,
that's not my
guess
deck.
what? You're not pitching first.
Okay. There you go. Well, there it is.
Look, problem solved, right? I'll take that. Whose deck was it? Okay.
That's my deck.
All right, Steve, Scuba.
Oh.
No.
All right, time starts now, I guess. Let's go. So, show of hands. Who here needs more time? Who here hates wasting money? Who's got teams that are drowning in data? Yeah, should be everybody. Well, my name's Scuba Steve, CEO of Autograph Analytics, and let's dive into it. So, data is really messy in automotive. There's too many tools, there's too many tabs, and there's too many dashboards. It's like drinking data through a fire hose, and that fire hose has now become a tsunami. Your teams are drowning in disconnected data, and they're missing opportunities, and this flood isn't slowing down. It's actually rising faster than ever. So in this new world, some are going to ride the data wave, and some are going to get swept away. The winners are going to move fast, they're going to predict problems, they're going to stay ahead, and the losers are going to miss these signs, and they're going to wipe out hard. After a decade in automotive marketing, we saw one thing. Data was broken. So we made the smartest financial move possible. We quit our jobs, we sold our cars, invested our life savings in building something that the industry was missing. We work with over 300 rooftops today, deep in the data. We brought fresh thinking from outside of automotive because our customer success isn't just important, it's actually vital to our very survival. Dealers are wasting money and they don't know where, and that's a big problem. And now we can bring that clarity in seconds. Go.
Maybe put it in the slideshow.
I've lost my deck. Yeah. Help.
I am so sorry. This is the voice of the moderator.
Can we pause?
But you only have 2 minutes left. I'm just kidding. We're going to fix this. This really wasn't, not to blame someone else, this wasn't part of my purview to manage the Keynote deck that I can't control because it's not a Mac. I don't know how anyone uses any of these things. I know, it looks so like I should just click on the thing.
Do we have a Windows user in the house? Paul needs a Windows user.
Legitimately, I need a Windows user in the house.
Yay, Windows user.
Look at this. I just texted our head of production, I need you, exclamation point. I hope he doesn't text me a heart emoji back.
What's up, boss?
Look, even the Windows users don't know how to use a Windows
Practice
machine.
some of my
Nobody
material.
does.
It's
It's Windows 11. Everything is broken.
Scuba Steve,
What's blue and smells?
jokes work, yes.
What's
Jokes.
blue and smells like red paint? Blue paint.
This is the cool part where we get 30 people back here.
It gives me lots of time. I mean, what do we want to talk about today?
It does. Well, you're down to 36 seconds.
Well, that's a lovely picture. I'll give you this. That's a lovely picture of our first corporate meeting. We're eating Doritos and Church's Chicken in the park because we can't afford to rent a boardroom. After Digital
All right,
Dealer.
here comes Nathan. Everybody here for Nathan.
Let's go. After Digital Dealer, I told my team we'd take him out on a yacht ride, and that was the yacht. It was $50, and we were wearing hats from Greg Gifford at Search Lab because we couldn't afford our own hats yet. And yeah, that's us working in a mall.
Scuba Steve,
Yo.
we're going to let you get off the stage and come back on the stage.
Oh, nice.
I don't know what happened. You say that like I know what I'm talking about. Nathan's like, what did you do?
What did you do, Paul?
It wasn't intentional. Robin will tell you that too. It's never intentional. I think the Windows users actually broke the machine.
That's
We
not
called the
difficult
Windows
to do.
user support group. They all got their pocket protectors out, marched on back here.
There you go. Let's try that.
Hey, this looks good.
Thank you. I'll be here all week.
All right, starting over in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, what's up? Let's try to go quick here, guys. Let's just skip to the good part. Come on, let's go. Most of you have seen all this stuff already. So yeah, that's us with the team. Anyways, yeah, dealers are wasting a lot of money. They don't know where. And now we can bring that clarity in seconds. So imagine a world where your data is monitored 24/7, where problems are caught before they cost you, where you can ask plain language questions and get instant answers with no training needed. No wasted dollars, no wasted time. That's the world that Autograph is building. When you're drowning in disconnected data, the last thing you need is another report. What you need is a lifeline. And that lifeline is Ada, the Autograph Intelligent Digital Analyst. It's an AI-powered data scientist and data strategist working 24/7 at a speed and scale no human could match. Sorry. Ada scans millions of signals across GA4, ads, CRMs, and DMSs. Ada flags waste, it flags missed opportunities, and it flags misspend. There's no dashboards and there's no delays. Just plain language questions and instant answers with no training needed. Most importantly, Ada gives you back the one thing we can never get more of, time. Ada gives you time to make better decisions, time to act, time to drive revenue, and time to win. Ada is built on the platform that's trusted by over 300 rooftops, including the largest publicly traded dealer group in Canada. Ada is reallocating millions in wasted spend, and it's doing it in seconds, not minutes or days or weeks. And it's doing it right now. At Autograph, we're building best-in-class automotive software that's designed to fundamentally change how our industry works with data. We're a small, scrappy team fighting hard for our customers every day. So please, all of you, including judges, vote 5 points for Autograph, and let's vote for a future where data drives decisions. Because in a world moving this fast, guessing is expensive. And you're stuck in the drowning in data, Scuba Steve will save you. Sorry, my back to you guys.
All right, that was fantastic. Way to pivot. Way to roll with it. Listen, I'm convinced that Kyle sabotaged this, which I'm doubling down on my first
I may have
request.
paid him for the stage time.
I know it. I know it. Okay, judges, your turn to ask some questions, and let's flip this around a bit.
Could you give me an actual use case of how dealers are using this?
Yeah, there's many. We started in the marketing world. So from a marketing perspective, it's to identify wasted spend. This tool was used by one of our Fortune 500 customers to cancel a 10-figure contract this year. So they're using it to identify vehicles that don't need marketing spent to them, channels that aren't working. But it's gone way beyond that in ways that I could never predict from our customers, which has been very cool. From sales managers to the most interesting use case, marketing team is working with a GM that they don't like. They're always getting flack from him. So we uploaded 20 years of sales data to follow his career through the different stores he worked with for the group because they were trying to get him fired.
That is a bold thing to say in a room of dealers. What are actual search queries that they're using? Take us through what they're.
Yeah, good example. So from the marketing perspective to start with, you could identify which vehicles are getting the most views on them, which vehicles are not, which vehicles have been on the lot too long. So some of our customers would say, show me, just ask it, how many cars do I have that are 180 days or older? What's the gross profit expected on these vehicles? How much vehicle traffic are they getting from our VDPs? And where should we be investing? From another standpoint, looking at your marketplaces. So you're looking at 3 or 4 or 5 different marketplaces, third-party marketplaces. What is the best value of our money invested in those? What's the number of vehicles we're selling from those channels? And what's the best bang for the buck there? But it goes way beyond that into meeting with dealer principals, and they're asking me questions I've never heard of, like, how much frozen capital do I have? What's my interest cost on these vehicles? Why am I haggling over $300 on a used car that's costing me $6,000 in interest? Those are the types of questions. Essentially anything, when we have the DMS data plugged in, you can ask it.
How do you guys make money?
Well, we try to sell this software at places like ASOTU. So we're in a SaaS-based model, of course, based on a per rooftop billing model, yeah.
So how do you pull in all this data together? I know you said you upload sales data. Do you have it set up where it's daily? Is it overnight? Real time? What kind of data are you looking at?
Best case for us is API. So we built something that I won't get too into the weeds here because it gets quite nerdy, but think of it like an AI agent that can speak to APIs, so it can pull it in real time. It depends on the data source, though. Sometimes we're working with vendors that don't have those kind of APIs set up, and in those cases, we'll use an FTP folder. Really depends, but best use case with our best partners, we've got an API direct connection to the DMS, and we just pull it in from there, and then from the ad platforms, all have APIs. Analytics has APIs, so that's the best case, yeah.
How long does it take you to set one of these up?
I mean, the technical part is almost instantly. We just need access to those pieces. The human delay is usually where we get caught up, but we can get a store up and running in an hour easy.
Yeah, but realistically.
Yeah, it just depends on the how hard the vendors move to give us access. But yeah, I mean, when we're onboarding a new client.
On average.
I'm sorry?
Like on average.
Yeah, when we're onboarding a new client, I would say 4 weeks, but honestly, it could be done.
That's a big delta.
Yeah, it could be done very quickly. We give 4 weeks just in case, maybe the website vendor doesn't know who has the analytics accounts, or there's all sorts of pieces like that. But from the technical standpoint, it's super quick.
So Steve, as you're thinking about the landscape of all dealer technologies, vendors that are out there, who are your friends, meaning who are you working with, and who are the enemies? Who are you replacing or competing against?
That's a good question. Canadian guy, I don't like to think I have enemies, although maybe that's very naive of me, but I like to be a nice guy. It's a really interesting question. I think working directly with DMS, CRM, inventory providers is great. We've got great partnerships there with many of them, not all of them yet. And it's helping them uncover things that they weren't aware of, so that's great. Who are we replacing at the dealership is a very interesting question. I almost think this is a new category of decision engine. So what we're really probably replacing is hiring an entire data scientist, data strategy, execution team that you now have in your pocket. So that would probably be one. If you were to pick a direct competitor, probably another dashboard company. That's our heritage, is that we're a dashboard business. And I guess that would be a kind of a comparison, but it's gone way beyond that.
It starts up pretty easy, not a lot of training to actually get on board and use it, but how much training is needed for folks at the dealership to actually know how to use it, what questions to ask, what to do with the answers they get?
I love this question. That's really good feedback, because when we started, we just gave this tool and said, go. And the people who were really nerdy about data got into it, loved it, and others were kind of, where do I start? So the part that we didn't get to show, because we've really limited time today, is we've built this agentic AI to actually be in the background answering the questions that you have for you. So starting from, is my data broken? That's a huge opportunity cost that's being lost, and that happens all the time. So it's scanning for that at all times, 24/7. So we've got data breakage, we've got issues with lead forms, anything on the website, we can be tracking that for you. And now what we're building is the most common prompts that people are asking, so it'll be sort of pre-populated with those for you. So it's sort of a tool that once you start digging into it, you really start to get the wheels spinning and asking more and more and more, and then we're encouraging our customers to try to break it.
So when you run into a situation where you are pulling DMS data and there's input errors, so human errors in the data, how are you identifying that in a dealer operator saying, hey, what vehicle has the most floor plan, and they've allocated an entire month's payment to one VIN?
Yeah, well, there's certain guardrails we can put in based on like a tolerance. So if something's way out of tolerance, that would be the first piece. That's something also that we're working with our customers to better understand. And from a CRM standpoint, that's a massive problem because a lot of them, they just don't trust their CRM data. So it's something we haven't completely solved today. But again, if there's something that's way out of whack delta-wise, then we can identify that, but it is a bit of the garbage in, garbage out. But we can start to clean that data. And that's a big part of the service Autograph offers, is we're taking all these disparate data sources, cleaning them, making them foundationally correct so that you can speak to them at the same time. Like you could go in a spreadsheet and say, how much is this car? But now you can say, how much is this car? Who sold that car? What's the gross profit on that car? How many of these cars do we have? All of it's tied together. And that's the power of this thing.
One last question for me, I'm sorry.
Yes.
What does service after the sale look like if someone signs up?
Yeah, we work very closely with our customers. We're a really small, scrappy company. I just spent at the end of a 2-week road trip visiting all my clients. But it's really designed to be something that you don't need a lot of hand-holding. It's very clean data, and you can go in and start to ask it questions. But at this stage of our business, honestly, it's me and my team, and yeah, we fly out and we meet our customers. And when I showed the largest dealer group in Canada, which is our customer, this tool, they were speechless.
How do you show ROI on how much this is actually saving the dealer?
That's an amazing question too. So I think there's a few different categories of that ROI. So from wasted ad spend, again, one of our large customers canceled a 10-figure contract. From time perspective, calculating the amount of time, and so on average, I'd say our customers would predict about 4 hours per store per week, wrangling data, downloading spreadsheets, dealing with all this stuff. And if we look at one of our largest customers, that's over $1 million in salary saved right there. And then the big one that I can't quantify yet is the opportunity cost. So when we're looking at another big customer group, they had all their inventory come off their website. They didn't know. When they start using Autograph, now they know right away. Their website goes down, we tell them before they know. So that is very hard to quantify. But from an advertising, time, and opportunity standpoint, I think the savings are almost uncalculable.
Question. One more. Audience, who's got a question? Micah.
It's a softball.
All right, so you talked about clean data. When it comes to, say, that you said that you linked with like GA4, are you doing any type of data standardization through like ASOTU events so that when you're working with a group, it's a consistent, the same type of events that you're tracking? Or how do you speak to that?
Yeah, great question. So Autograph Analytics is our name, so we're very deep in the analytics world. So many of our customers are on the ASC standard, and for them, happy to use that, no problem. We also have our own set of events that we track for our Canadian customers and others. So ASC is fantastic big if, it's done well. And that is a huge delta, even within certain providers. One store is awesome, one store is not. Depends who did it. And with certain vendors are great, and certain ones are not. That being said, at the beginning of the project, we go through, we vet all of that, make sure it's working well, and then we pump it in.
All right, let's hear it for Scuba Steve, an autograph.
Nice job.
Great job. Great job. Hand that, just put it on the chair somewhere. I'll figure that out later. Okay, now sign the vote. If you don't have the app, you're not going to be able to vote right now. But you'll be able to vote on the next one unless you can download it super fast. Open your app up, and you can click on Agenda. And then you can scroll down to this session. It's toward the top still. It's got a little live icon on it. And once you do that, open the app, click on Agenda, tap this session. There's a little button that says Poll in the bottom left-hand corner. You can tap that. You can enter your vote there. Judges, you already know what to do. They're going to tally their votes. We're going to keep all the votes quiet. We're going to give you just a moment to do that. And now we are sure that you are next.
Yeah. Hey, everyone.
Hold on. What? No. We're going to make sure you're on. We're going to go. We're going to do this thing. I'm going to give everybody another 10 seconds to tally their votes. Till I see eyes, I want to give our next contestant all the attention. Judges, you feeling good?
Feeling great.
Feeling good? Feeling good? Looking good? Okay, good. All right. Jacob, you're here.
you doing?
You're ready. Everybody, welcome Jacob. Give us some energy,
How's
folks.
it going, everyone?
We're gonna let
Good
him start.
morning. Nice to meet you. I am Jacob Zaks. I am the founder and CEO of Fasten. What is the number one issue for dealers in America? By CDG just came out with this last week. Jay, do you know the answer? Affordability. And what is the number one issue of stress in the American household? Affordability. We are the only credit card that rewards consumers on the second largest form of American debt, their auto loan and lease. We give 2 points per dollar for your auto loan and lease spend. And then unlike other credit cards that give bonus points on restaurants and hotels, we give bonus points on all of your auto spend. So parking, gas, insurance, tolls, maintenance. So really saying that like, hey, when you go into a dealership, you are thinking about affordability. Tariffs is something that honestly I actually haven't heard that much here yet, but are on the top of mind whether you're a dealer or a consumer. Of all of the companies I'd say in the auto space, I think we are the only company that is directly tackling that. Beyond that, we are also a loyalty program for dealers. So as you go and you build up these credit card points, we are a Visa card. So we are accepted everywhere Visa is accepted all across the world. Those points can be redeemed at your dealership group. So McClarty, right? You're a McClarty, if I remember correctly. You can go to any of your stores and use the points for service, maintenance, down payments. If you want a sleeve of Porsche golf balls, we don't really care. And we make it easy that actually, as long as the consumer just uses the Fasten card, we will recognize that, and then we will offer the consumer the ability to redeem their points. And so the whole thing is, this originally started off as a credit card that is tackling affordability straight on, and it can actually help decrease the cost of a car by about 10% over the lifetime of your loan. And then you can, actually like increasing loyalty. Actually, Bill, who's one of the other judges, once said to me when you were having breakfast, any dealer who thinks of a customer as an annuity is in the wrong business. And now we are really taking a model that has worked incredibly well in hotel, airlines, retail, and bringing it to auto for the first time. And so, and let's really think about it. You are spending the money anyway. You might as well get the points. And we are the only way you're going to be able to get points for your auto loan and lease without charging fees to the dealer, the consumer, or the lender. So what are we? We are the first credit card that is here to help consumers and dealers. And then beyond that, here's our point structure. So we will give points at Fasten dealers for all of this auto spend as well as on all other purchases. But then beyond that, we have found out a way to incentivize consumers to come back in the credit card world that's called a card-linked offer. So you wake up from an email every day, hey, you get 10x points to Home Depot and Lululemon, right? Now we actually found out a way that dealers can offer these points to their consumers through actually a tax exemption of reinsurance. So I'm not sure if you guys know about reinsurance. It's something that your principals are probably very excited about. But what we've realized is that credit card points are reinsurable. So if you are at Reynolds and you have all of this data, how do you say, hey, it's time for Sean to get his oil changed? Now instead of doing a traditional model, you can say, come to us instead of Jiffy Lube. We'll give you 1,000 credit card points. Or you're in F&I, you're saying, buy this extended warranty from us. We'll give you 10x points. To the consumer, that's a 10% discount. To the dealer, it's a sales velocity tool to help you sell more F&I products, which obviously dealers love. But then, because of this tax exemption, it actually costs the dealer nothing. So it's a great way to increase sales velocity and retention, and really kind of think of these customers more as an annuity than you ever have before. And now you can really go and market to them specifically. So that's it. We are the card for people with cars.
There you go. Nailed it. Nice round of applause. Judges, who wants to kick it off?
So I like the parallel to hotels and to airlines. Obviously, those credit card programs have been very successful. Mm-hmm. How do you sit alongside the OEM cards?
Great question. So I'd say we are going to have more. I'd say the OEM cards and the gas cards. There are gas cards, there are OEM cards, but there's no real holistic auto card. First off, no one is offering you points for auto loans and leases. And then the whole thing is that when you have like a Ford card, you're Ford's customer because you can redeem your points at any Ford dealership in America, but you have to use Ford Motor Credit. For us, we are brand agnostic, lender agnostic, as long as you are going back to your same group. So we want you to be a customer of that dealership group, not just like of an OEM. And then we want people to be able to have choice down the road. And also, if you do like have like other rewards through like Ford, we can actually be worked on top of them. So it's not anything mutually exclusive. So if you're getting points back from Ford or these other reward programs, you can go and use us as well to increase your costs even more.
So it's been a minute since I've had a car payment. But
Lucky you.
The last time, I don't remember being able to remit payment via credit card. How
Great
are
question.
you getting past that?
So that actually is different today than it will be in a few weeks. But right now, we just recognize that the loan has been paid. So when you set up, you'll have two Plaid integrations. One connecting your checking account to the credit card. That will pay off your credit card bill at the end of the month. And then the other one is just recognizing the loan's been paid. So whether you're going to Ally, Wells, your credit union, we just recognize that that's been paid, and then we will give you the points. Interestingly, we were actually approached by Visa, and I'm going to meet with some executives at Visa next week, and we are going to be piloting a new product of theirs where it's actually a bifurcated card. So it's a credit card for your Starbucks, your gas, your Netflix, but it's actually a debit card for the auto loan itself, and that's how you get under the regulations of paying for debt with debt.
So if you make it big, and suddenly you have a ton of Fasten dealers, and I have a customer whose wife has, a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and Brian has a customer who is in the same household that has a Toyota Tundra, and we're competitive dealers. How do you anticipate handling inter-market competition?
Yeah, so, I think that's actually why we partner with dealers, right? Like, we want this to be a loyalty program for the dealers, but we also rely on the dealers to go and push the card. So just because someone bought at your dealership doesn't mean that they are connected to your dealership. So this is actually a conquesting tool as well. So there's a first mover advantage in everything, right? Like this model, like this kind of like points for non-traditional spend has been pretty popularized in other industries, and we are the first one to do it in auto, right? So we have a first mover advantage. If you are the first dealer to sign up in your local area, you can have that first mover advantage as well, right? I mean, that's why I'm here. I'm here to talk to dealers, and we are here to help your loyalty, but also help your staff, sell the card when you're in F&I. I have a little ROI calculator right here, or have your marketing tool. Because even if you didn't buy from McClarty, you can go and market them and say, hey, are you getting points in your auto loan? Are you spending $800 a month, $1,000 a month? Now you should be, you can be getting rewarded either way. So it's really the dealer who goes and signs them up, or they can sign up on their site and pick later. On our site, I mean.
What type of integrations do you have for the dealers so it's easy to reconcile when someone comes in and they have points? How does the invoicing take that into account and all those types of things?
That's a great question. So we do all the reward ledgering is ours. We actually are, would love to chat about DMS integrations. That's kind of the next step. Launching a credit card is not an easy task. But so actually the dealer does nothing on that end. So say you go in, say you have, 50,000 points, you go to get your brakes changed, it's $1,200. The dealer actually doesn't have any issues. You swipe the card, we recognize that you were at McClarty for your for this purchase. For the next 90 days, we will send you emails, texts through the app saying, "Hey, would you like to redeem your points for this purchase?" And so we actually take it out of the dealer's hands. The dealers are still getting paid, and we are now actually giving them a statement credit, which is actually how Capital One does it. So it's not like a out of the ordinary thing. Large banks are working that way.
If a dealer is going to contract this product, what is the onboarding time, and then what's the cost structure? Like, what are dealers paying to be a Fasten dealer?
Yeah, so right now we launched 8 days ago, so we are actually we're in a pilot program, and so we are like delaying costs for a payment for a year. But the goal is to have it be $1,000 a month per roof. But we actually pay the dealer per card enrolled. So in the credit card world, like Chase, Amex, they have like a relatively high CAC, and actually like we can have like a pretty good CAC, but while also incentivizing dealers to push the card. So if you go and you sign up 10 cards, which I think is like, hey, you're spending the money anyway, we can essentially decrease the cost of your car by 10%. Now you can go and we'll spiff either the store or the individual, the F&I person, the salesperson, the marketing people, whomever. And actually, we let the dealership decide how they want to do it. We've actually seen some interesting models on that as well. Like, hey, everyone gets $50 for your card, but the person who gets the most gets the bulk of the other 50, right? So that's you gamify it a little.
So loyalty rewards programs are extremely expensive for credit card companies. And the way in which it's almost a race to the top, right, for a lot of these. They're building lounges at airports. They're coming up with new ways to incentivize customers. And the way that they're able to offset that is typically two ways, right? The annual fee for a card, but also the interest on the revolving balances. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about your business model, and if you are expecting the revolving aspect to be a big part of the revenue, how is it that you keep it from imploding?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So revolving credit is really how credit cards make money, right? So to answer the first part of your question about like, we're not going to probably building lounges. I think like, if and when we have great success, we'll be able to, I sound like Borat. If and when we have success, we'll be able to kind of like help dealerships develop a reward program that's a little bit more robust. But on the revolving credit is like a huge part of our revenue stream, right? That's how every credit card in the world makes money. You want to have a balance of revolvers and transactors, and then you want to have low default rates. We are Prime Plus, right? So we're not like a Yendo who is a subprime. We are going after point takers. There are 100 million Prime Plus drivers with auto loans in America. We like have enough of a market to go after where we can just focus on that. I don't want to be like subprime and in the business of repossessing people's cars, frankly. And so I really want to focus more on these like, hey, I want to optimize my credit card points. I can want to use my points for a trip or my next down payment. So we want to be the first card where you can go on your dream vacation or buy your dream car, but we're kind of that way.
All right, we got time for one more. This will be the last one.
Sorry.
Let me throw it to the audience to see if there's anybody in the audience.
They threw it back.
So you mentioned repossessions.
Yeah.
Is it a secured or it's an unsecured
we're
transaction?
Unsecured. Unsecured. Yeah. Prime Plus, unsecured.
All right, let's hear for Jacob. Great job. Well done. All right, you know what to do. Put your vote in. If you'll notice, a new question magically appeared on the poll screen. So you can answer that one however you want. We're going to give it a few minutes. Somebody found the question. Because that is the one thing I'm going to show Kyle after this session. Very dangerous thing, giving me admin privileges over this app. I'm going to give it 30 more seconds, maybe 20. It's a slow burn to that one. 10 seconds. All right, our last and final contestant, Brian with Mia. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Yo. That's not my slide.
Again, I thought
back.
we fixed this. Can you just forward it and see if yours is next? There we go. All right.
That's my slide.
I'm a
Cool.
problem solver.
Hey everyone, my name's Brian. I'm the CEO of Mia Labs, where Mia is your AI BDC agent who's actually conversational. We've signed over 100 dealers, and we started with one core problem. Dealers miss 15 to 30% of calls. Now, there are many reasons for this. Maybe your service advisors can't juggle the phone, people are calling in after hours, your BDC is understaffed, you name it. But when your dealer misses a call, there's a likelihood that the consumer will call a competitor within the next 24 hours. So you're looking at up to 6 to 7 figures in missed opportunities annually. Now, what's missing from existing solutions? We found that most tend to focus on just booking appointments for just the service department in a very rigid way. What's your name, year, make, model, date and time you want to bring your car in? It still functions like a very linear decision tree, very robotic, and it certainly can't answer questions or triage calls for multiple departments or the front desk. That's where Mia comes in. Mia is your BDC agent you wish you had. First, Mia comes to work 24/7, 365 with a consistent positive attitude. Second, Mia does more than just book service appointments. Mia can function as a receptionist, answering questions and triaging calls for not just service, but also sales and the front desk. And third, Mia is designed to mold into your dealership with over 100 possible configurations. Train Mia once, and she'll be your super employee for life. And yes, we do connect with your systems to answer questions and push appointments using real-time data. We meet you where you are so you can onboard Mia with minimal disruptions. Mia frees your staff to do what they do best. So far, we found that Mia is able to save up to 600 plus appointments and 40 plus hours of labor per dealership per month. So Mia handles your leads so your staff can focus on greeting customers, servicing vehicles, and winning those deals. And this is just the beginning. Soon, Mia will be able to support not just calls, but also texts and emails, giving your clients a consistent experience across multiple communication channels. And we're also about to launch Mia's outbound engine to automate intelligent marketing campaigns as your first line of offense. Ultimately, our clients will have an unfair advantage as the first truly AI-native dealerships. Never miss a digital lead again with Mia. Thanks.
Wow, kept it tight. All right, judges.
So, what's the worst instance of Mia messing up that you've ever had?
Mia doesn't mess up. I'm just kidding. Worst instance of Mia messing up. I mean, early on, I mean, there were several instances. Like for example, one story that comes to mind would be with languages, and so we take a very quality over quantity approach with languages. We really take our time there. So we spent a lot of time with Spanish, for example, and we bring actual human testers in and make sure the dialect is right. She's pronouncing every single thing correctly. We take that really seriously. And there were times early on when we first released Spanish, it was very Spanglish to put it in. And we. Can we roll out a ton more languages really quickly? Now, yes, but we prefer to take the long approach and give an experience that our end users, the callers, are actually comfortable with. So that's the first thing that came to mind. So we really took a lot of time to patch that one up for our customers.
What was the strategic thought of your plans when you're taking the inbound, and that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of pain there, problems with them. Missed calls, missed emails, missed texts, that sort of thing. But the outbound seems like a whole nother area to get into. Now you're walking on top of maybe what CRMs might be doing or marketing platforms and those types of things. How do you plan to manage that, and what was your thought process going into that strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. So where we see Mia going, and really our goal from the beginning, was to build a truly end-to-end operating system. Like we want our dealerships to have just one vendor who manages all digital communications for consumers. Now we spent the first 2 years focusing on just perfecting that inbound experience. But outbound is a critical portion of this as well. Like you can spend 120 plus grand, thousand per year on buying these leads from lead aggregators, for example. But when you only follow up on at most 50% of them, that's leaving a lot of revenue on the table, and these BDC agents are overwhelmed. There's a high turnover rate, up to 80% per year on those teams. And so we want to make it easy for our customers and focus on just driving all traffic in. Again, inbound is about, if you compare a dealership to a ship, inbound is about patching this leaking hole at the bottom of the ship because the dealership's already going to get traffic going in anyway. So we're going to be the first line of defense there and make sure that you preserve every lead, you do not miss any inbound opportunities. But it's also important that you make the most out of all the leads you buy. Whether you set up a manual marketing campaign through Mia, like, hey, we have a store special coming up, blast these consumers who we've been working with already. We follow compliance as well, of course. But also just on an ongoing agentic, intelligent basis. So based on your real sales and service history, from an equity mining standpoint to like, hey, this lead hasn't gone in for service in a year, let's check in on them. Because I'm sure you've probably gotten plenty of texts, emails, or just general ads from dealerships. It's all remarkably generic. And we see an opportunity for Mia to be that trusted voice in automotive to deliver the first hyper-personalized ads that the industry has seen.
So how are you going to combat message bloat? Because one of the things that we work on as dealers every day is, we'll have a DMS product that is sending an initial, communication message for a service advisor. And then we'll have a marketing product that will do the same, or we'll have a bolt-on, or we'll have a service department whose service manager doesn't want to use the native texting. And a customer ends up with like 7 or 8 numbers. How do you differentiate yourself so that you are not just number 8 on that list? For the dealer, not for the customer.
Yeah, absolutely. So one example here is, for example, like really basic, but like appointment reminders. So a lot of times, we push these appointments straight to the, for example, the service scheduler, and we've had dealerships switch to us from competitors because their voice products couldn't even push direct to a service scheduler. It was a very manual effort. So when we do that, there are times when the scheduler already has a built-in feature to notify the customer, hey, you have this appointment coming up. So when that happens, we don't feel a need to push our own reminder. So the consumer gets multiple appointment reminders. So that's one example where we really narrow down the blow because I understand like just as much as everybody here, like we don't want to get bombarded with a bunch of redundant or irrelevant messages. And from a marketing standpoint, we're really looking to become the main marketing engine for these dealerships. So to where all major campaigns, again, this is omni-channel. And part of what makes it so unique is you're able to intelligently switch between different channels. So we'll have like by June, like not just calls, but texts and emails. If sometimes the CRM doesn't even allow you to text customers, but we'll have email to get around that and make sure that the customer has a good experience. There's nothing else they need help with. And so the intent is for all marketing to go through Mia as the new modern marketing engine for these dealerships. So she'll be not just the BDC agent you wish you had, but also the marketing coordinator you wish you had.
So it's a really dynamic and exciting space. There's probably, I could name a half a dozen companies that are also attacking a similar problem. If somebody like Elizabeth has all 6 to 10 of those companies in front of them, how's Mia different?
Absolutely, and I know we've had plenty of conversations here before, but the way we see and speaking broadly across the landscape right now, so a lot of voice products out there are much more nascent than they seem. Like we've gotten dealerships from a variety of competitors switch over to us. So one example we gave earlier was that they couldn't even book appointments straight into the service schedule. Like integrations continue to be an issue across all vendors. We also uniquely started with the sales department, whereas we found that virtually every competitor started with a focus on fixed ops, which makes sense from a dealership profitability standpoint. But we believe we have the most depth when it comes to sales capabilities and integrations from CRM to inventory, which gets really complex, especially when you start sharing inventory between stores. So we have a really robust built out sales functionality, not just the service department. And we're functioning as a general receptionist for the front desk as well. Like people, surprisingly, a lot of people will call in for things like everything from basic hours and directions to like, hey, is this car in stock? Does it have heated seats? Asking a lot of questions and like, hey, I worked with Joe as my service advisor. Can I talk to him? And cool, let me transfer you over to Joe. So we're functioning as a truly conversational and dynamic agent across different departments. And like I mentioned earlier, we're also designed to mold into your dealership. We have quite literally over 100 different possible configurations of Mia. Everything from ring times to answering preferences to transferring preferences to trigger words to the way you want Mia to open the call and greet customers. And we really take our time during this onboarding process. We're not exactly positioning ourselves to be like the very quick and simple use case off the shelf solution. Like we truly are here to build a super employee who can learn once and stay with you for life. We tell customers all the time, like, don't think of us as a software vendor. Don't think of Mia as another software product. Think of us as the staffing agency, and think of Mia as your new super employee. And we're going to help you onboard Mia. We send this onboarding form. We can help you fill it out to all your preferences and really train Mia based on how you want to run your dealerships. You would go through the same process if you were onboarding a human employee anyway. And that's the level of thought that we put in. We're acting not just as a staffing agency, but also at this point, like your AI and your phone consultants as well.
Okay, we have time for one more. Audience, anyone have a question? Okay, we have 1,
Woo!
2, 3, 4. We're gonna go with first in the back there.
Ooh.
You feel like your AI might be falling short the experience, and if you could start over building it today, what would you do differently?
Yeah, absolutely. So, when we think about our roadmap, a big part of ours and everybody else's is going to be integrations. And so the more integrations we get, the more types of calls, and inquiries that Mia will be able to speak to. So, for example, like one of the more challenging ones has been for loaner cars, for example. Sometimes there's not really a loaner car system to integrate to, and even then, like it's not always up to date by the staff. Sometimes it's like they look out the window to see if there's a loaner car available, and so obviously like Mia, we haven't given her eyeballs yet, so we can't speak to that quite yet. But that's an example where over time, the more integrations we get into, the deeper into each of the departments of a dealership, and the more departments we're going end to end, the more we'll be able to speak to. So that's an example for you. If I could start all over, I'm really happy with the way that we decided to tackle marketing. Obviously, we started off, we wanted to be focused. We can't tackle every single department up front, F&I, for example. But we started with what we believe is the first truly conversational receptionist product out there like 2 years ago when everything that existed was a linear decision. Like we did our diligence on the market too. And we knew that there was a big opportunity in the sales department, checking inventory, scheduling these test drives when everybody was focusing on service. And that's why we believe we still have the lead today when it comes to sales capabilities and integrations, and which again, like inventory integrations are surprisingly complex. And so, yeah, we have a really robust service product, but we're able to say that, hey, we can support multiple of your departments and act as your front desk receptionist.
All right, let's hear it for Brian.
Appreciate y'all.
Great job. All right, please register your final scores. And we are going to, you're going to drop it. Extra points. Go in, register your final scores, and we are going to let our fancy app that we built for this very purpose tabulate the results and then share them in real time. I'm going to give you 20 more seconds to do that. While you're registering that, I want to thank our friends at Ford Direct for sponsoring Pitch Tank. If you got hands free, let's see, everybody's kind of there. All right, we're going to close scoring in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, We're going to tabulate the scores really quick. Can we hear it for our friends at 4 Direct for making sure this happened? Can we hear it for our distinguished panel of judges? Yes, yes, yes. Can we hear it for the contestants? All of them. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of heart to get up in front of everyone and do this and submit themselves to the scrutiny of others, but that's what makes a great anything, honestly. Specifically, a product. Let me refresh my app. Spencer, are we good? We're good. Okay. Seeing this in real... Oh, that's not this room. See? Like, they didn't even pitch. How did they win? Okay. I don't know how I'm supposed to do this, but I'm just going to say the winner. The winner, drum roll. Can I get a drum roll? Kyle doesn't do drum rolls. Just saying. With a score of 4.04, the winner of this round is Mia. Let's hear it, Mia.